Hi, people. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, I figure I would do a review of this Transformers Kingdom Ultra Magnus, which I got earlier in the week. I figure if there's anyone out there who hasn't seen the other videos that are out there, perhaps I could bring a new perspective. Initially, I wasn't planning on getting an Ultra Magnus from the War for Cybertron series. I had seen the Siege, chose to skip it simply because I already have the Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, and I was very happy with that toy. But because the Siege and the Earthrise and Kingdom series do have other characters that like Springer and RC and Cup and Blur, Hot Rod, the studio series as well. I was kind of trying to put together a um, movie set of along this same scale. So I figured, why not? And this one kind of more, reminds me of the one that I saw in the '86 movie. I know the Siege version is more, I guess, supposed to be of a styled more after a Cybertron version. So I figure I get this one. Again, really nice packaging, really nice artwork here with Ultra Magnus. Um, really nice. And then the vehicle form, standard packaging. In the back, you have your vehicle, you have your robot modes, etc. The one thing I notice here is these parts are really painted on the robot red or blue here, but I guess I always make these changes. But it's a really nice packaging. Good job on Hasbro on that part. The main thing, obviously, is this guy, which I am happy with. I had seen other videos of this guy, and I know, some of the complaints the folks had, which I also share. Things like, the fact that the arms are kind of, the hands with the arms are kind of just hanging out there. Obviously, for whatever reason, I usually tend to not mind things like this, but they just stick out a lot on this particular toy. I don't know why. Maybe it's the color. Um, the other thing is a lot of this midsection here is hollow, as you could see here, and over here you could see Ultra Magnus's head kind of just hanging in there. And then the one thing which I thought perhaps I had a defective toy was the feet here, which is supposed to be the back section of a truck. For whatever reason, these don't sit flat, like, and they are flush against the bottom of the foot here, but they just sit like that at an angle. So I thought I had a defective toe. I thought that maybe this section was warped or something, the plastic. But after seeing a couple of videos and of YouTube and then pictures online, I believe this is normal. I think I've seen a lot on a lot of the other video reviews, sort of like the same thing where the feet are angled. I just wish they would have been like more straight. Um, and then too, I guess as you go through, you go through the transformation, you'll see that this is not just one robot. It's like parts. It's different parts that you take out and sort of have to attach to this main thing to make Ultra Magnus. So it's a nice toy though. I mean the colors are nice, red, white, and blue. The truck here again's really nice. The clear or see-through blue windows there. But this is, I guess, in this mode, very reminiscent of the '86 Transformers animated movie, I guess, as I remember it. I mean, it's not exact, but very nice toy overall, and it kind of does roll. And I guess if you wanted to put some cars up here, you can as well. For specifically for the arms and the hands here just hanging out there. Looking online, I did run into a video on YouTube from a user by the name of Darth Ravage 07. And what I will do is I will, in the description of my video, I'll include a link to his video. But he came up with what I thought was a really neat way of perhaps hiding these more so that it doesn't look like there's just hands just hanging in there. And he did a couple of other things that you can watch in his video as well, like shave things up here, which I thought was really nice. But I could probably show you exactly, what he did, but essentially you just have to take this apart. You have to detach it from the truck. Once you do that, you can put this down for now. And there's these parts here, which are just kind of there. They're part of these parts here are part of the transformation. You can take them out one by one. But essentially, what you can do to cover these is you can attach them here, and it seems something so relatively simple, but it's very effective. Again, I'll put the link to the video in the description of my video, but essentially what the user did was I'll just focus more. So kind of just, because there's a peg there, and you'll see, I'll show you in this one, and you just kind of just close that, and you kind of just put the fist back. And I think that's a really neat way of kind of hiding, right? You can't even tell, it just looks blue, but essentially there is a peg there that goes into that you could put into the fist here. So essentially you kind of just go like that, and you close it, and then you kind of just transform it back, and you can fiddle with it, try to make it look nice and everything. But for whatever reason, I thought this was a really neat way. And again, kudos to that person that came up with this, because when I saw it, I was like, huh, really nice. And then once you do that, you can just tab the stuff back in here. Let me tab this in for you guys. And same thing on this side, you kind of just tab that in, and you kind of just then push this down. And I really like that. I think it kind of cleans up the truck mode. It hides the fist or whatever. And then it no longer looks like there's just hands out there hanging out in the out there, just there. So props to Darth Ravage 07. Like I said, I'll link to his video in my description. But again, really nice. So I think when I did this, it's amazing how just this small one change kind of, I was like, huh, looks much better. But again, I really like this. I think if when I do display it in truck mode, I'll probably have it in this configuration. I think the instructions also tell you to put these back here. But again, I'm used to seeing them up front, these missile launchers. So for me, that's where they go. But you can put them wherever you like. But overall, really nice truck mode. And I think doing this kind of remedies that part with the, you just kind of have to fiddle with it to make things straight. But yeah, I like this. Really nice. But what I'll do now is kind of go through a transformation, and you'll kind of see all the steps and everything that's needed. So usually I start by taking these off. These are the shoulder missile launchers, and then kind of just lift up here, and pretty similarly to what I just did, you kind of just untab here, and this section is going to come apart. I'll show you in a second. Then what you do is you pull this out, and you can take these apart, put these aside because we'll be using these later along with these. And this is really his upper body, head, and his legs. So you kind of, again, there's sections here that are tabbed in, and you kind of just have to pull them out. Same thing here, this side right here, pull that out, and then right here too. So now, because this is two different separate sections of the feet, you kind of just, and this is separate that. So that's one, and we'll separate this. So, and you can see his head's just sitting right there. So we'll put that aside, This is one of the things that I guess it didn't turn me off, but I was kind of like, huh. It's a lot of different parts. And for these sections here that I put in, again, part of the transformation is asking you to essentially move these and then move these arms out. There's tabs here. And then while you do that, you could probably open these here, take them out. Again, these are for the forearms for the Ultra Magnus mode. And you can take those out. And then essentially from here, it's the legs, it's kind of like, it's fairly simple, right? They're like this, they're tabbed in. You kind of just pull them out and that's it. These are the legs, and they do have tabs right here to help him, I guess, balance better on this in this mode anyway. So while you have this out here like this, usually what I do is I just kind of pull this down to give myself more room, and then I kind of turn this around. Just make sure you move the arm out of the way. You turn that around. While you're here, you can then push this pull, and then you see the head there, and then you can tap this back in, and that's tapped in. Before, because you're supposed to push this back, before you push that back, you can slide this up on this rail. Just make sure you're all the way in, and like that, and now you can tab the arms in, and now you can push it back. And it sometimes is a little hard to do, but hopefully I can do it for you guys. There we go. So now it's in, and then you can push this back in. And now he's in this, I guess this is still Ultra Magnus. Kind of looks like a Optimus to me, but my only familiarity with this design was a couple of years ago. Well, actually a long time ago on the, I think the first IDW series. I recall seeing Ultra Magnus sort of shed all his armor, and then on the underneath he'd kind of be like a white version of Optimus Prime. So I'm assuming this is what that is. And while this toy is really nice, I think some of the proportions are a bit off. Like he looks a bit, I don't know, like his legs are perhaps too short. And but I mean, I think it's nice. He has a lot of posability, and move the arms, move them here, the head, etc., legs. And the legs do have ratchets, which is, I guess, is good, because once you get him in Ultra Magnus mode, the legs can get pretty, not heavy, but they'll have a little weight to them. But yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, he's a little squat, I guess. He looks a little squat to me, but not too bad overall. But I didn't really get the toy for this mode, but it is part of the transformation, so I just wanted to show it. So then the next thing to do is to make him, I guess, into Ultra Magnus. The one thing we do need to do is kind of put the head away. So what I do is, again, open these, open those, lower this section just, and then you're going to pull this back forward again as much as you can. Once you do that, then you can again open this, and you would just hide the head, because that's not his head, and then close that. And then this goes back down, and then you can then push his in, and then this hip or waist section, you kind of just it is like that. It was down, you turn it, and boom, you can start seeing some Ultra Magnus there, right? You can tab these back in, the arms. You won't be messing with that anymore. And then from here on in, you're kind of just adding parts to this this thing here. So usually the first thing I go for, or the one thing to keep in mind is, wait, and I'll show you when you're adding the legs, you're supposed to pull these in, so they're not in the way. But like, for example, this is his left foot, and essentially this is like an accordion. You would just fold here, fold, let's see if I can do this. So fold this like that, and then essentially it gets in there, and there's two tabs here, and it's tabbed in, and then you have part of the leg there, and then you do the same thing with this side, kind of like that, and you tab in again here, and then you have the two legs. Then what you do then is you pull these in, and you kind of just slide it in. That's all it is. There is some tabs in there, these things that kind of hold it in place. And as you guys can see there, you have now the legs. So the next thing is this part. And this was stretched out for the trailer mode. And usually you just do that. And then once you do that, there is a section back here that this goes into. And just got to make sure you're below, the very top line, and just kind of tab it in. And once that's in, you fold this down, and there are so the one thing is this section here, just make sure you fold it in, because there are tabs here that go into, there are tabs here that go into here. So you're gonna tab it in there, and now you got his legs. That's a rather interesting look. And then you could do pretty much the shoulders, and these shoulders have sections in the back that help it. So I'll show you guys. You kind of just slide this in to here like that, and there's a tab there that this kind of folds into, and that's that. And it's in, it's secure. And then the same thing here. You slide this in, you fold this, and right there, you're done. And then when you kind of turn it around, there he is, almost done. And as you can see, this was my one thing. It's like a lot of adding armor pieces, basically. These things have the forearm pieces have a tab there that goes into this hole, and you kind of just push it in there, and you close it, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Boom. And we are kind of almost there. The last thing to do is these missile launchers that would then go, I put them right here. Right, they go in sideways. And same thing with this side. And you now have Kingdom. I almost said Siege. Kingdom Ultra Magnus, and he does have some, the same articulation, like the arms move here, and like I said, the legs have ratchets, because it holds it, but and then you can bend the knee. I think just because of how now thick this guy is kind of limits some of the articulation, but I think Magnus has always been a big guy, right? I think overall I prefer the robot mode to the vehicle mode. I really do like this. Again, the blue windows here, the missile launchers, I think all the colors are very well done, and backside too. I guess he does have a bit of a skirt in the back. The one thing is you can turn the waist, but it's kind of limited because it's hitting up here, and I guess you can kind of move this up, but then you're kind of undoing the part here. Then he can turn freely. So, but it's something you can do. But again, I think this is really nice. I like it. I like the size of it. I like the weight. It's got good presence. Um, I just, I mean, I know perhaps I'm spoiled by the masterpiece one, but I wish it was like a all-in-one rather than taking all these separate pieces and then making a robot. Um, he also did come with this gun, which I believe is the same gun that came with the Siege version. But I like it. It's very nicely detailed and he can hold it. And again, you can turn his head. This head's got a good, left, right, some up and down movement. Um, you can see his head there. And yeah, but I like this toy a lot. I think it's a worthwhile addition, at least for me. He is a bit big, and you probably can't get him into a lot of posters just because of the size and like the heft of the legs here. He looks uh, pretty big and chunky, but he can still get him in some good looking poses there. And he does have some ankle tilt here. He does. Well, he has a lot of ankle tilt, as you can see. But you can play with that as you post. But I like this toy a lot. I think it's really nice. Nice colors. A good representation of that G1 Ultra Magnus. Or yeah, so really nice. So what I'd figure I'd do next is I do have some things here to compare him to. So I'll just start moving this stuff. And the first thing that I thought I'd compare him to is, my point of reference is the masterpiece toy, which again, obviously, let's see if we can get him on the frame here. No comparison, right? But you guys can see it there. This is probably one of my first masterpiece toys. Yeah, yeah. But again, that's a really nicely done like figure. But I figure I compared it to like this one has the Autobot signal here. This one doesn't. And as I recall, I haven't transformed the masterpiece toys in a while, but I don't think it has all these different pieces that come off that you have to reattach. I believe I seem to recall that when you transform this one, it's all pretty much in one, right? Like he is the truck. There is no white Optimus underneath. But I love this thing, just the weight of it. I think is really, really, really nice. But again, no comparison because obviously these are different price points. But I sort of wanted to put them together so that you guys could see if you want a comparison. The next thing would be we'll put this big guy off to the side. Optimus from Earthrise, just because I always see these two guys together. And again, I think it's a really nice pairing. I think they pair up nicely. I think again, Ultra Magnus was always much bigger than Optimus, so I think that scales really well with that Earthrise Optimus Prime, probably with the Siege version as well. So we'll put Optimus aside, and then I have this Ultra Magnus, which was, I believe, from either the older War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron video games. They made toys after that series, and this is kind of based on a Optimus Prime mold. But I've had this one for a while. I just kind of kept him around. I thought it was a nice toy, nice representation, I guess. But obviously, comparison to this guy here, tiny little guy, but it's a really nice figure. I like this one. So we'll put him aside, and then I guess just for kicks here, I'll put you can put him next to Grimlock here, and this is the Studio Series Grimlock. So again, you could see the size comparison there, and Grimlock was always bigger than Ultra Magnus. So I kind of think that kind of works out well. So, and then this guy was also in the same movie with this one. So I had to get, I'm also waiting for the other Dinobots. And then I kind of figured I'd bring in all the different guys that I'm probably going to display them with, uh, more than likely I'll have Ultra Magnus and, Springer there. Uh, Probably Blur. Again, Blur here. Uh, Definitely Cup. Cup there. And the RC that I reviewed the other day that I got at Target. Let's see if she could stand up. Yep, she could stand up. And then Hot Rod. We'll put Hot Rod over here. He's too busy shooting things up in here. But I think this kind of goes really well together. This is kind of what I was looking for, and this was the main reason for me getting this this Kingdom Ultra Magnus. I sort of wanted to put them together, and I know obviously this is Siege, that's Kingdom, and the rest of these are all Studio series, but they go really well together. Um, like I said, is I am waiting on getting the other Dinobots. At least I have Slag on pre-order, and my understanding is that they are planning on making all the other ones, Swoop and Snarl, etc. I also have Rodimus Prime on pre-order, so once I get that, he'll probably go in there with these guys as well in my display. I guess this will be my 86 movie display. But again, this is a really nice figure. I think I wish they could have done a little better with the truck mode and kind of integrating the parts into the transformation. But I understand for the price point, they probably did their best. But and there are some workarounds with the arms kind of showing in truck mode there, like I showed earlier. But it is really a nice figure. The colors are really nice, nicely detailed. Um, Again, I guess he's just a big chunky boy. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, very nicely detailed. But again, just sort of wanted to go over this and show you this Ultra Magnus here and how he'll look probably on my shelf. And with that, thank you for your time. Until next time, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.